absolute terror of a top laner at international events. And the way that it works is you can invest so heavily into your Q and your E, you don't even have to learn your W early on. So you get to just have more points in your core abilities. Melee champions just have no ability to deal with you because of the infinite mobility and constant dashing. You constantly bully the lane. You shove things up with proper manipulation of your Q and E to both clear waves and carry those spears forward into your opponent for poke damage and big burst and harass. It's just an incredibly powerful top laner that will fall off if the game goes big into team fighting.
And I think it's also another signal from TSM that they want to play around topside. It's been something that they've been pretty consistent with throughout most of the series and also did a lot of this year. So, I mean, it's TSM now. They no longer like going by Team SoloMid. Part of this is why. Like, they're really not about just playing around Bjergsen. I feel like so much of this split has been an attempted kind of passing of the torch towards Broken Blade's talent, and they're putting it to the test here when it matters most. This is not a utility top laner or a weak side top laner or someone who just sits idly by while they crash bottom lane. This is something I expect them to play through. Frequent ganks. I kind of expect Bjergsen to try and shove Ryoma in and make his way top lane, and it's on Someday to withstand whatever Broken Blade can throw at him early on in the game, because as we mentioned, if we get to 5v5s with even gold, I think Hunter Thieves should be a big favorite.
Pincushion role player up against Kalista top here for Someday. He does have his Resolve secondary mastery, so it will provide him with a little bit of extra defensive power up against Broken Blade's Kalista. But what you're seeing right now, Someday completely zoned off the wave, just trying to last hit with abilities, is going to be how this lane plays out. The goal is not to win, it is just to survive and lose gracefully up against Broken Blade on this pick. See if maybe Meteos is able to come up there with the Sejuani and help him out. Because, man, if Meteos is able to get going in this game up against 280 carries, up against an enemy jungler that, again, doesn't have great scaling like a Rek'Sai, he's going to be a brick wall by the time this game goes late.
Absolutely, and pay attention to this early jungle pathing, because Dardoch already with the quick level 3 is looking and has actually already found Meteos in the jungle. So trying to take very early control right now because the Kalista is so pushed up. And it's, while it may seem right now like, hey, Someday should just collapse down and kill Dardoch, it's really hard because there's a large wave of minions that he doesn't want to abandon, which is what's allowing Dardoch to play so aggressively in the jungle here.
Dardoch trying to contest for this wolf. Both junglers have the smite. Nicely done by Dardoch there to secure that one, steal it away from Meteos. Meteos got one of the small wolf puppies, but that's worth 12 or 13 gold. It's not really a big deal.
Tricky here.
But Bjergsen first to roam here. He had the mid lane control. He had the priority and pressure, which means he gets to join this fight. Bjergsen fires off a sleep.
Really greedy.
Bubble. But he's not going to find the CC down onto Meteos, who does have to try to use the Arctic Assault to get away. Meteos just, man, sticking around way too long. What in the world are you doing there, buddy?
I've been there as a jungler, let me tell you. These people are in your jungle, they're sitting in your jungle, you're thinking, no way they can stay in my jungle, really. But what you should actually do, since camp respawn timers are so short now, 120 seconds on both Krugs and Raptors, you just recall. Like, you can lose your buff, it's fine. The reason I think Meteos didn't want to recall is he thinks if he cedes full control, then Someday dies. Because that's what the Kalista Rek'Sai is looking to set up, because it would be a 3-man indefensible dive. So I think he's trying to buy time for Someday to catch a wave. It's still exactly the type of opening the TSM wants, though. Getting first blood on a Dardoch, maintaining control over that top side, effectively making Broken Blade ungankable, and giving TSM yet another early game lead.
Huge early game lead. Over 1,000 gold, almost 1.5k. Just 4.5 minutes into the game. Off of the lane advantages they have, off of that early kill that they got onto Meteos, who now has moved into the enemy jungle to farm up some of those camps. So TSM feeling good about how this one is beginning. But that is something that we've said about previous games as well. It's not just how things start, it's how they end. And for TSM, we need to make sure that they keep things up going forward. I know it feels a little bit early and a little bit doom and gloom to say, yeah, but don't screw it up, TSM. But this has been the biggest issue for this team. And I'm not saying this to just be like, overly harsh on TSM, this has been the biggest criticism of them the entirety of this split, and it's something they have to be very aware of, as Broken Blade is very aware of exactly how much damage it does to Someday here. Someday flashed away from the Q. He took the damage from the rend, but not the Q. Could have potentially died there if not for the flash.
And you can see just the utter pain and sense of helplessness that Someday feels up here, knowing that Meteos has kind of had to leave him, since if Meteos tries to do anything and Dardoch meets him in the jungle, Someday is unable to assist. But he's gotten enough CS to pick up a double cloth armor. He was able to teleport. He will likely be able to catch this cannon wave and hit level 6 and kind of get out of one of the most miserable parts of this laning phase. But we're going to have to see. Another wave is crashing, and here comes Dardoch.
Oh, remember, Someday just used his teleport, so if he's taken out here, it is absolute disaster.
This is huge.
It's Bjergsen making his way over as well.
He's going to lose this wave.
The massive wave. That's 2.5 waves worth of minions, including a cannon, denied. It doesn't matter if they get the kill. The sheer amount of gold and experience Someday is losing out on is worth more than a kill on its own. Meteos will escort him back up here to his minion wave. Ah, yes, right this way, sir. You have lost your way. The tour's over here now. Just trying to get him back on track as Dardoch and the rest of TSM have to disengage this one.
So, weirdly enough, that was actually a really big win for 100 Thieves, which is strange to say when they're down 2,000 gold and he still lost some minions, because the fact that Stunt was roaming up there means he was still able to hit level 6. If that play goes to plan for TSM, they kill him. And TSM wasn't willing to dive in between turrets because they didn't also have Biofrost on the way. The roam up by Stunt was actually super crucial in keeping this hope alive for Someday in this lane.
Dardoch and Broken Blade are doing so well playing around this top side that is just so heavily in favor of TSM. Bramblevest is going to make it so Broken Blade can't lifesteal infinitely off of auto-attacking Someday. It's
a little bit of damage return as well. It's
a little bit.
It's what you do on Aatrox when you're trapped. So what I will say is I want to expand a little bit on what you said earlier about this has been a problem for TSM all year. It's also been a strength for 100 Thieves all year, where I feel like most games that go even or late, 100 Thieves has been able to pull together. So in that way, this is a favorable matchup for 100 Thieves. The drafts have moved more in this direction. And I also want to bring up a stat that Mark mentioned during Countdown, and we also talked about in depth during the podcast, is just TSM does win fast when they win, but if they don't win fast, they don't win. Because their average win time was about 32 minutes and their average loss time was about 40 minutes. Normally, when you have that scenario, it's a team that is kind of overperforming because, oh, they win fast, and if they're not winning, they're able to stall the game out. But in TSM's case, if they don't win fast, they themselves bleed out until they lose. And that's actually what we saw in Game 3 against 100 Thieves. It's a little bit of what we saw in Game 2 of this series. And if they lose this one, it would also be how their split ends. So it's really do or die here, as we've been setting up since Champ Select. Can they play around Broken Blade here? Can they keep the pressure up across all 3 lanes, which is what they're doing? 2,500 gold by 9 minutes is a huge early game lead. But as you mentioned, they got to be able to close.
Yeah, that stat that you mentioned is funny because of how counterintuitive it is to the norm. Just how TSM falls behind, and Bjergsen's able to jump in there, steal that blue buff away. They're not falling behind anytime soon. 2,500 gold ahead at 9.5 minutes into this game. 100 Thieves are trying to hang on, staunch the bleeding however they can. That's all they can do. As bottom side, that lane is playing out exactly how it did in games 1 and 2, with Kabe and Biofrost controlling the 2v2, and that's so good for them considering everybody's playing around the top half instead.
And Bjergsen is really having a good game so far, over 100 CS before 10 minutes, just a 20 CS difference on Ryoma. Basically deletes half of Stunt and stops him from being able to participate in this Rift Herald, and TSM's going to use this Rift to likely break first turret of the game, assuming they get the last hit on.
Sunday's walking up, but I don't think he wants to walk any closer. There's, yeah, I'm going to go with nope. that's not really a play that you can make anything happen against when you're 1 versus 3. But there are 3 plates remaining on that top side turret. We'll see if they want to kill that turret with the Rift Herald, or if they just want to keep it alive so Broken Blade can continue bullying Someday like he is. Dardoch will once again smite away an objective that him and Meteos were both next to. Granted, Meteos just got vision of it, so he wasn't quite as prepared as Dardoch was. Dardoch now.
They can get something here.
Here comes follow-up damage. Someday going through, but Broken Blade, he's got the panic button, and he pulls Dardoch to safety. If you thought Kalista, if you didn't, somehow, if you were one of the people in Twitch chat that somehow didn't think Kalista top was annoying already, let me introduce you to point number 2.
Bailing out Dardoch right there after he gets picked in the river. And yep, that's first turret. Full on over to Broken Blade. Now expect him to move bot towards Drake. And TSM will hope to start stacking up these Drakes. Notice that actually they are a little bit slow towards Drake as they have been all year in exchange for gold. 4,000 gold with 11 minutes is just gargantuan.
Yeah, you don't normally see these kinds of stats. I remember back in game number 1, I said it was pretty incredible that they had a 4,000 gold lead at 15. Well, 4 minutes earlier than that, and they're hitting the same mark. TSM is doing their darndest to win this game and make sure they take us all the way to game 5, get us those silver scrapes, and earn their spot above 100 Thieves here. 100 Thieves looking for some vision in the enemy jungle. You can see the blast cone being destroyed to prevent some gank paths. Stunt also going to lay down some wards there. You can see pings now from TSM onto the Drake pit saying, hey, it's been 12 minutes. We should probably look to invest here.
Man, just to be in 100 Thieves' head right now thinking like, okay, when can we actually start fighting back? Because if you fight back at the wrong time, you end up just making matters worse. What TSM wants is they want 100 Thieves to stick their head out to go into this double Blade of the Ruined King 80 carry setup and soon to be Luden's Zoe and just start getting one shot. But at the same time, they're just being destroyed. Like the bottom lane's got a 20 CS advantage. Bjergsen's got 26. Gonna drop down to about 20 here as Ryoma is able to pick up a wave. But really it's just about like, what does TSM want to do next, and can they make this happen cleanly? Because 100 Thieves is completely on the defensive.
You're talking about 100 Thieves having to pop their head up, and you just made me imagine that arcade game. I can't remember what it's got, like Weasel Wallop or
Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole. That's it. I knew I was messing up. I had too much alliteration. Either way, yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Weasel Wallop
or something? Weasel Wallop.
Because you wallop.
That's kind of a better name than Whack-a-mole, honestly. I'd
the
play Weasel Wallop.
with the hammer. Either way, I'm just imagining these poor little Aatrox weasels trying to stick their heads up and grab some farm, and Kalista walks up with a big old mallet and wallops them. That's the story of the entire top half of the map here in this game of League of Legends, and it's not changing anytime soon.
No, and that's let's count. That's 8 plates for TSM to 0 of 100 Thieves. 4,500 gold, 1 Drake, and more soon. Here we go.
See Dardoch, you're gonna be in some trouble here. CC coming down, but Biofrost once again, man, always on point with the devours here for Tom Kench. Stunt trying to disengage. Meteor's gonna be taken down to half HP now as well. Cody Sun moving forward, looking to find the damage. Dardoch at 400, but oh, Bjergsen, he tried to sneak in there for some extra paddle star, but didn't quite find the kill.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that was going to kill him, so I gave a little gasp, but turns out it wasn't close. He doesn't have Ludens yet, but yeah, that's just... Dardoch, was he able to steal that? No, Meteos secured it, so far, still more defense as they're now trying to move down for a dive.
TSM just never stopping. Dardoch at 400 HP, but remember, he still has the ulti, which is a great aggro drop to prevent him from dying to a turret if they do make a dive happen. And that's it. Second turret of the game over to TSM. 5,300 gold. Make it 5,500 now. The tune of the lead here for this team. Yeah. Super impressive first 15 minutes.
Yeah, this has been total domination from TSM. And if they play cleanly, it's going to just look like a super smooth win from start to finish. And what I say next is going to sound... like, why are you even worried about this?
Okay,
but
yeah, buddy.
What I'm a little worried about is how they haven't done anything after breaking this top lane turret. So, Broken Blade has had this 40 CS lead for about 5 minutes, and he's not freezing Someday, so he's not denying him any CS. He's not really counter jungling, and he's not joining the rest of his team, so he's just splitting farm in a matchup where he has the potential to take a much larger lead. So I would have liked to see Broken Blade either leave and help, you know, participate in that fight in the red buff, right? Like, get a few kills, really break this game open. Because the longer he doesn't do that, the higher the chances that Someday comes back in the game. It's 5,000 gold right now. It's not currently a big threat.
Or any threat.
But after you use all those resources to get Broken Blade so far ahead, you need him to use it.
Oh, Ryoma, he gets himself away with a nice shockwave. It looked like they were going to be able to collapse on him, but now 100 Thieves looking to bite back, but here comes your Paddle Star. Nice stasis from Stunt to keep himself alive. Going to be taken very low. Oh, Meteos with the whiff on the Glacial Prison.
And a big fight in the mid lane where no one dies, and Someday gets yet more CS back into this one. So a narrow miss for a couple of different reasons right there. Kabe actually almost goes down. So for, you know, take C9. Put C9 where TSM right now is, and this is just like any of the games in the 3-0 that C9 handed to 100 Thieves to put them in this spot. But knowing the history of the split between these two teams and how hard it has been for TSM to actually close out victories, you can't help but get a little bit nervous.
I don't know, man. I think they should have what it takes. I've played a lot of League of Legends in my day. I've been playing this game for 10 years. I feel like most of those games where you've got this kind of a lead at 17 minutes in terms of gold, not a 1-0 lead, but in terms of gold, you win mostly.
You feel like you can just walk it in.
Yeah, I feel like you win most of those games, but 100 Thieves,
yeah, you do.
they're going to give it the old college try. Let's see what they can accomplish here. Sleepy Trouble Bubble down on the ground. Not going to find anybody.
Well, Sunday's not even here yet.
You aware of the...
But he might be looking to flank.
Okay.
If Ryoma lands a big shockwave,
Stunt's not going to find much of anything.
back.
Dardoch is exhausted. CC coming through. Stasis going down. Dardoch grabbing the kill onto Stunt. As the Rift Herald is going to be secured by Someday of all people. Broken Blade is standing on top of it, trying to protect it. 100 Thieves do not have the chance to go in and actually secure the eye.
Yeah, this is a Rift Herald denial in both senses. Someday somehow just like stabbed it to pick up the last hit. The stab in the eye actually outsmites a jungler for how much damage it does, so you gotta be able to be in position for that knockup, and TSM's likely gonna get an Ocean Drake, so it's a small victory for TSM in terms of like net assets that they're able to acquire with the kill and the Ocean Drake, but still probably a pretty useful denial by 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves at least, I guess, I'll give them a half point, because they didn't get it. Granted, you didn't get it either. But that's still halfway in between where they wanted it to be. So yeah, I'll give that a half point.
Yeah.
It's a C+.
Still counts as not a Rift Herald for TSM.
Yeah, C+. Now, let's see if they can get anything else, because the gold lead still keeps building. TSM still keeps taking more and more control over the game. The Callista has enough daggers in her inventory to just stab everybody on the side of 100 Thieves. So we're going to be seeing more attack speed coming out. We're going to be seeing more ability to move around. Because remember on Callista, attack speed is also mobility. Because the faster you attack, the quicker you can hop. So she'll be able to get all these spears in there. You can see that's how the farm goes. And Someday is still just trying to get these items built up. Has the Tabby, has the Bramble Vest, working towards the Black Cleaver as Kabe and Biofrost push up onto the tier 1 here. After those first 2 turrets, they haven't been able to grab any more of these objectives away from 100 Thieves since they are looking to try to grab that mid lane tier 1, complete that outer ring.
Yeah, and with the Hurricane being completed, Broken Blade is ready for the team fights. Let's think for a sec. We got... So the Drake game got started slowly by TSM. So we're 20 minutes in, and there's still 3.5 minutes left on the Drake. So 28:30 is about as quickly as TSM would theoretically be able to get Cloud Soul.
Okay.
Cloud Soul is always pretty good. Very easily able to proc that move speed and just super zoom around. Looks like Dardoch is either going Edge of Night or Umbral Glaive Rek'Sai, which is a little atypical, but I don't hate it since he's 2-0 and he's looking to one-shot. And if TSM ends up winning this, it's going to look like a total slaughter.
Yeah.
Because it has been a total slaughter so far. But I'll still say it kind of only takes one big fight just with with how good the 5v5 of 100 Thieves look, if they get the gold close and they can deny the Dragon Soul, it's still winnable for them, in my opinion. So a lot of tension in this game, weirdly.
100 Thieves will just continue trying to farm. It's still only a 2-kill game in 20 minutes. Honestly, we're not putting up huge numbers in terms of this being a super exciting, fast-paced, high-octane game of Legends. It's just Kalista doing this to her opponent for the entire
Well, it's every lane. Like, Bjergsen's up 40 CS, just like his Broken Blade is up 40 CS. Really, the surprising CS difference is Bjergsen. The Broken Blade CS is actually expected. If you said, hey, they're going to channel this top lane Kalista, they're going to use first Rift, they're going to get first turret, and oh, by the way, Aatrox will be the same level and only down 40 CS, you actually take that. It's the rest of the game that is putting this game currently over the top for TSM.
Meteos still prowling around his own jungle, looking for something he might be able to do here. Dardoch does have the Tremor sense to detect him there over the wall, so he's able to disengage there with Broken Blade. Broken Blade and Bjergsen levels 13 and 14. Someday and Ryoma levels 13 and 12. Not only is it that 40 farm difference for Bjergsen there mid, it's also 2 levels up on his opponent. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, the second pick Zoe by TSM so far paying off. It's really what they used in part to get that first blood in the jungle on Meteos. But Someday still looking to fight back.
Remember, if you try to focus Dardoch, it doesn't work because Broken Blade just saves him and then throws him right back into the fight. Then he's able to use his own ulti to drop aggro once again. It makes it an incredibly difficult 2v2 because you have to either jump on a champion with infinite mobility or jump on a champion that has 2 separate aggro drops. Very hard decision making to go through and find a successful way out, and it results in them having to back away as TSM take their 3rd turret of the game in the bottom lane tier 2. That is a 6,500 gold lead.
Yeah, the fact that Dardoch is the ultimate partner for Broken Blade also makes me more okay with that serrated Dirk he has sitting in inventory. Like, you can be a little bit more of a squishy Rek'Sai since you do have the Kalista ult for assistance, and 100 Thieves is just conceding everything. They are doing everything they can not to die, thinking that they have this late game scaling advantage, but the make or break fight is approaching. It's not this next Cloud Drake. It'll likely be around 27 minutes, if that, because with double Bork and Rageblade Varus, I really think TSM, after this next Cloud Drake, need to start forcing Baron stuff.
Yeah.
They need to start clearing out vision, and that's how they can get, I mean, maybe even a perfect game. Like, in all the way this series has gone, they have no deaths, they have all their turrets. Technically, a Rift Herald got stolen away, so let's call it a no-hitter rather than a perfect game. But they have done everything right, so to speak, making this 7,000 gold lead a thing at 23 minutes.
And not just the 2 Bork users with the extra Rageblade on 1 to take down the Baron, but you've also got Zoe, which is one of the best you better get the hell away from here champions for keeping your opponent off of an objective that you could ever have in League of Legends. Incredibly potent composition for contesting these neutral objectives. As over the wall he goes, Paddlestar onto Meteos will take about 1/3 of his health away, but remember, that is through the Frost Armor. As Meteos is now rooted up, more damage going to be coming through, utilizes the ulti, having to flash away now. Dardoch once again going to be saved, thrown right back into the 100 Thieves lines. A kill onto Cody Sun, a kill onto Stun, a kill onto Ryoma. Sunday runs away. Oh, I don't think this is going to work out too well at all for him. Broken Blade continuing to try to chase after Meteos. Someday will be the last man standing here as Meteos will meander off to the left side of the map there. Makes a liar out of me. There's 2 alive, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. TSM over to Baron.
And that's exactly the type of fight they wanted. I didn't think, with the way 100 Thieves had been conceding for 23 minutes, that they would try to contest Drake number 3, the one that doesn't give over the soul, but maybe they thought they could get TSM through the right corridor and find an initiation. They clearly could not. And that's a 10,000 gold lead by 25 minutes. That is surely a lead that they're able to close out with.
I don't see how on earth they wouldn't. I know that you're trying to be very cautious and warn everyone, hey, we've seen them throw leads like this before. We have to be careful, always expect the unexpected, etc., etc. But I think at this point you actually have to unplug your keyboard and use a PlayStation controller if you want to lose this game from this point in time. This is a Baron buff. This is You've got the 2 Drakes. Yeah, they just got the Cloud Drake, but that's no big deal. You've got these champions that are so incredibly powerful on these massive item spikes, and it just seems like it's time to walk it in.
It does. They did delay the Cloud Soul, so they wouldn't be able to get it until 35 minutes. So if they can't get a good initiation, which they still have to be clever about the way they initiate, they're leaving the door somewhat ajar for 100 Thieves to get back in.
I'm willing to call
I know it seems like I'm joking.
I'm not even willing to call it ajar. I will call it unlocked. Unlocked. They didn't lock the door. This is 10,000 gold in 20 minutes, chat.
Yeah. Okay.
10,000.
Yeah. It's a lot of gold.
It's a ton of gold.
I haven't seen that much Kalista top, right? And like it's just, and you haven't seen that much Edge of Night Rek'Sai.
No.
But I have seen a lot of Orianna, MF, Sejuani, Nautilus teamfight wombos. So like there's still a chance this happens, but it's getting slimmer and slimmer by the minute.
Let's see if TSM can finish what they've started here. Dardoch is the focus at first. He is taken very low, nearly taken down, but close on the counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Stunt now Sleepy, not going to fall here either. The turret is gone, and topside, the turret is also nearly removed, I believe just barely still standing there as Broken Blade put the auto attacks into that one.
Yeah, Broken Blade just standing strong in that side lane. Bjergsen still just looking for picks throughout the jungle. A near miss by 100 Thieves. If they weren't 10,000 gold down, you could see that teamfight might have worked. But they currently just do not have the damage to close out these targets.
If only. TSM have 30 more seconds of the Baron buff. They will be pushing up here in the top side, as well as having Biofrost and Kabe escorting in a minion wave there at mid lane. Top side inhibitor exposed. Mid lane inhibitor will be taking damage from this juiced up cannon minion. And I'm not really sure what the play is here for 100 Thieves, other than hope TSM just gets a little bit too hypey, go for the punish. Broken Blade firing off those auto attacks here. Again, just keeping that cannon minion buffed up. 5 seconds left of the Baron buff. You can see 100 Thieves thinking about it. They got to know that buff is running out here in a couple of moments. Sleep down onto stunt. Piercing arrow will find him for a little bit of bonus damage, and the Baron is gone.
So in a sense, they withstand it. They hold all their inhibitors, and they continue to scale up, and it is still the Cloud Soul that needs to be slowly worked towards by TSM. I like that Kabe seems to be moving a bit more towards the AP build on Varus. I think that's really crucial for cutting through Meteos, who's stacked a lot of max health. There's just an absurd AP ratio on the % max health damage from the Varus Blight, which when I think it was Sven actually finished a death cap, you can actually do like 45% of someone's max health with 3 stacks Blight and detonating it with your E or your Q.
Oh yeah, it's a flash.
Once you finish your like pseudo AP Varus build. So actually really like this as a Varus build that maybe could go late, because TSM is hoping for a little bit of late game insurance in case they're not able to close out this game, because gold leads, while there is an absolute value of 11,000, 10,500 right now, is more about percentage differences in terms of power. So this is the stage of the game where most of the standing gold is gone. TSM has already grabbed it all, so unless they're getting more kills, it's hard to expand the percentage much higher at this point. And if Ryoma gets death cap, and I know we're doing a lot of these if, buts, and ands, because literally 100 Thieves has 0 kills, but if he lands a big shockwave, there's not that much MR on the side of TSM. Or
piercing arrow plus paddle.
If he gets one shot, then maybe they just get 2 inhibs and win the game.
When you have 2 long-range abilities that are both capable of chunking out half an opponent's HP, sometimes some wild things can happen here in League of Legends. And that's going to be a mid laner down and a top lane inhibitor taken as the cost. Chains of Corruption over the wall. They find their way onto the 100 Thieves roster.
Right.
Someday going to be killed off. His first death of the game. Someday's the double kill over to Kabe, and TSM are on the victory march. Shut down onto Dardoch. His first death of the game. The only kill that 100 Thieves has managed to find here for themselves. 10 seconds left until Ryoma spawns.
Perfect game is not to be. TSM wins a big fight in the base, and they move on to yet another Cloud Drake. That was just good opportunistic play from TSM. Bjergsen landed the pick on Ryoma initially, and then Kabe, who has just gotten really big throughout this game, lands a good ultimate to get more damage down on 100 Thieves. And I think they're kind of pushing him into panic mode here a little bit. Knowing the Cloud Drake just went down, I'm expecting 100 Thieves to do something around this Baron.
I mean, you kind of have
They're
to.
trying to clear out vision early and get a good early setup, I think.
It's time for the YOLO play. You're down 2 inhibitors. You're down 12,000 gold. The enemy's on soul point. It's time to just go in, try to make something happen. Yeah, you got a 1% chance of it working, but if you let them take the Baron again, you've got less than that. So let's see what 100 Thieves have up their sleeves here. See if there's anything left in the tank, or if we are 100% without a doubt going to those silver scrapes. TSM with control over all neutral territory here on the map. Baron is alive. 100 Thieves hanging out in the top side of the jungle. Bjergsen over the wall. We will not find anyone there with the Sleepy Trouble bubble, but this should be a sign for TSM to safely move through this area and establish vision.
Yeah, I mean, they even have Broken Blade down bottom, keeping Someday at bay to prevent a 5v5. I think TSM should just be... I think they can just do Baron, honestly. I don't think 100 Thieves can check. There's waves of super minions crashing by. At most, they would hope to kill Broken Blade's Callista. There's a chance TSM is waiting a little bit for Baron as well, so it coincides better with the Cloud Soul spawn, just to make sure that works out. But really, I think it should take Baron, utilize these 2 waves of super minions, and then try and end the game on the 3rd.
Ooh.
But they're still fishing for Zoe plays. Actually, Dardoch is split pushing. They're doing something
Split
else.
push lethality Rek'Sai is here to end the game when no one else will. Dardoch, he's got
Here they come.
the Nexus turret low. They do manage to take it out. Kabe and Biofrost are here as backup. It's a 3v5 for the moment, and the CC comes down. Biofrost immediately prepared with the save. Stunts there on the front line, going to be taken low. However, the Gargoyle Stone Plate will keep him healthy enough. Bullet time goes out, but Biofrost walks out of the way. Stun is going to be killed by Bjergsen. Biofrost continues to hobble out, and Dardoch grabs a lot of damage, a lot of CC, and that's all they needed. A double kill for the jungler, a triple kill, and an ace for TSM. They will end the game here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to game number 5.
Whew, if you tuned in now, you'd think, oh yeah, just another TSM snowball. 13 kills to 1. But the story of this series has been absolutely wild. And TSM, they called their shot coming into this 4th game. They said, we're not going to pick this scale and stuff because our late game has actually been pretty bad. We're just going to go all out, counter picks galore, power picks galore. We're throwing in the Callista top. We're doing lethality Rek'Sai. And they do close it out soundly in 32 minutes. If you look at this game in a vacuum, TSM, everything was good. They weren't too slow. They didn't give opportunity for 100 Thieves to come back. The one nitpick would be, they didn't stack Dragon Soul enough, but it's because they continually extended this gold lead. Everything was solid. The question now becomes, how do we hit back in this all-decisive Game 5? 100 Thieves just lost, so they will be the ones with side selection moving into this last game, and I can't wait.
I think it's going to be the most interesting draft as well, because 100 Thieves have banned the same 3 champions in rotation 1 for these first 4 games. But now you have to think about Zoe. Now you have to think about Callista. You have to think about that 4th game, and I'm excited to see what changes, if anything, or who knows, maybe we'll have a second Salty run back here in the same series. Anyway, we're going the distance, but before we go to the break, we must abide by the sacred principles of tradition. We are going to get a helping of the Game 5 anthem, Silver Scrapes. Soak it in, breathe it deep, and we'll catch you right back here